have a very long-standing relationship with a town on the southeast coast in between Waterford and Cork called Dungarvan. Dungarvan is Erie's sister city. It is a beautiful seaside village on the southeast coast. It is caught between the sea and the Comeragh Mountains, and its people are extraordinarily welcoming.
There's this sense that Dungarvan has embraced the Mercyhurst students, and it just feels like a really kind of special relationship.
Living in Dungarvan, you were there in the small town. You're walking everywhere. You get to know all, the people who work in the restaurant, the people who work in the market square on Thursdays. You're just in contact with them. You see them, they know you, you know them. And so it really feels like you're part of that culture. I don't think you get that if you see somebody in Dublin, you'll never see them again, right? But in Dungarvan, you're part of it.
We are in an increasingly more global environment. And so students need to be exposed to other cultures, other ways of thinking, to travel, to being prepared, to making decisions on their feet, to doing a lot of things that when you're traveling you have to do. You have to be prepared.
I saw the students who went on the trip with us exercise a level of independence that I hadn't seen previously. And that's really gratifying as their professor, as their mentor, to watch that. And I know for many of them it was a transformational experience.
One student in particular, it was transformative to his experience of Mercyhurst. His experience of Mercyhurst had been okay, but this was a crowning jewel of it.
Yeah.
And I think it really made his 4 years all the much better.
I had an internship this past summer after I came back, and I had a lot of interviews before that internship, for other ones as well. And people are very interested to hear that you studied abroad. That's automatically kind of makes you stand out. And whether or not it should be that way, I don't know, but people are curious. They want to know what you learned, because that's an opportunity that maybe not everybody has. You can bring a different viewpoint, a different perspective into the work environment, wherever that might be.
I would definitely recommend Ireland over any place to go for students who are coming to Mercyhurst, because there's nowhere else you can go and take, at least at this university, and take a full course load of these credits that you couldn't do anywhere else. You can go to Ireland and take Irish literature and psychology and sociology.
A lot of it we found, instead of reading from the books, we were able to do open discussions. And I remember for my Irish literature class, there's one stage that we just couldn't wrap our heads around through the history. And it's everyone put your jackets on. So we got up, went right outside, we didn't even realize it. Instead of taking a left out of the building, we took a right, and 2 feet away was the actual thing we were learning about in Ireland. And it's astonishing to realize that even in the small town of Dungarvan, half the history is right there.
Big cities are great. Rome's great, Dublin's great, New York's great, but they are large cities. They can be overwhelming, especially if you have a group of students. And if the goal is to interact with your students in a meaningful, intimate way, a big city like that might take away from that. But Dungarvan, you have this intimate setting, this venue where you can interact not only with the townspeople, but you can interact with your students in a more meaningful, intimate way.